Okay, so you probably heard the title of the class, Bellydown Backstep. Backstep is a pretty basic thing, but back in the days they did it in a horrible way, and it still worked because everybody's like that right now. So let's just start slowly. Take you. Yes, take you. No, it's not. No, also no. It's advanced, but no spinning, no timing. It's just a structural. Let's sit down. A structural anatomical class. Just replicate what I'm doing. Everybody can do it. So the classic backstep was usually having two the legs. Usually they're kind of playing something like this, and you go to the outside. And then go down. Back in the day, it was just like, and it's so horrible. Like there's nothing stopping him from getting up. Yeah. So if he gets up, and unless I'm like Craig Jones or something, I have the best heel hook in the world or something. If I don't get it, he gets up, usually passes. It's just like falling for an armbar and not finishing, and then it's like giving him a present. So you should try, like with any position, be it a pin or a guard or a leg lock position, to learn to keep it for a long time. Yeah? If you can keep it for 10 seconds, you can think what to do. If you can keep it for a minute, you can pretty much crush him mentally or even longer. Yeah? And back in the leg, I said, they would step back, and as if his leg is like 3 meters long, they would just hunt for that leg. But you should try to stay more on top of him. Yeah? And then we're not going to go through all the possibilities from where to get this, because learning the position, timing, everything just in 1 hour is a bit too much. I'm just going to mention it a couple of times, like from where you can use it, but we're mostly going to do it from the normal, like something like this, for example. Yeah? But don't do it, just showing the mechanics. So first they would just sit down and fall a little bit. You know? That's already at least better than just flying there. You know? But even better than this. If you stay on top, or maybe just fall a bit to this side instead of going there. That's already a bit better, yeah? Because most people think, like the leg locks, you finish them a lot of time while you're sitting on your butt. But actually it's better if you are on top of it. So even better would be to just stay here. If he does a good job, he will push me down, and then I eventually still fall down and have to fight here. But this is already the intention to go here instead of jumping there is already much better, you know? And then I developed this thing. I thought, like, how can I stay there? And it's like very unstable. Like it's kind of hard to be here for a long amount of time. So somehow I tend to fall there. Like, they would try to sweep me there, so I would keep my weight there, and eventually I would fall like this. And then I was like, this feels good. And then I would look at the guys and see how they try to escape, and it would get harder and harder for them, and I would like chill forever. You have your head, both arms and your shoulders. And he usually has a hard time getting out of here. And to learn this position well, you should learn to stay here. You can't do this for much, it's just an hour, but play around with it. Whenever you end up here, feet can be crossed, they can be like this. Ideal is like this, but it depends on the length of my legs, the length of his legs, my size. You can't always get this one on top of this. Sometimes it's going to be like this. The left one close to the knee, the right one close to his crotch. Sometimes just the feet together. Crossed is also okay. It's like a tripod kind of. So you don't have to squeeze. That makes you less stable. It's more like kind of like this. Yeah? And these good guys, they will always kick and like kick their leg out and pushing. So you always use your head, your shoulders, your arms. But be aware about it. Like don't be relaxed here just because there's no danger. Because if she does some violent movement and I end up doing this, I'm gonna stay on top. I'm gonna maybe even finish him, but you might have neck problems for a couple of weeks. So be aware, flex your neck and be ready to post on your forehead. And then you can actually use this post really well. You know, to just control your position and sit. You can kind of hand fight it depending on what you're doing. Your feet are very safe here. You know? And later we're gonna go into detail what you do if he stretches out his leg, if he tries to hide it here. We're gonna later get into this. So for now, especially for the people who never did the backstep, to get the mechanics down, we're gonna do like a little drill. And I don't like learning a position or a movement just from that movement. Like what you're gonna do today is always doing this. Yeah? But I just like you to understand the mechanics, the idea of this movement itself. So we're gonna do it a couple of minutes, like 5 minutes maybe. From here first. Yeah. Then you can try it from here. Sounds looks weird, yeah? Because from here I'm not getting to there, I'm actually getting to actually, but it's the same kind of thing. You know? You can, like I said, if you go punch for the heel, you might still get up, you might still roll off. You should just stay here. Even finishing from here, it's like much more stronger than going. This is still good. If I have good control, I have the hip like this or like this, it's still fine. But in competition here, he has to first fight me off of him. And while he's doing that, he's still in danger. And even if he gets me here, he's still in danger. So I have like two attacks instead of one. But it's just for the good. I'm going to do it from here. And this. From here. You don't have to do much, you just stay there. You can still go belly down, just even there. And just for fun, we're also going to do it from here, but go for this leg. This, of course, a little bit different. It's an open circuit, it's not triangle anymore. But it's still a nice entry for a lot of leg attacks. So just do that for, let's say, 5 minutes. You know? Mostly focusing on the one in the middle, but just to get the idea a bit better, try the outside one, try the one all the way over the other leg. Okay? So let's go. So now, let's go a bit more into the details. Like I said, we're not going to go through all possible ways to get into that, but I'm going to more mention when it's not possible. So I'm here, for example, could you talk a bit more quietly? If he's a bit like doing stuff like this, many people don't do it, but it's a thing. You can kind of do sweeps here and stuff. Then I should never try to get behind there. It's like way too much work, and you just don't do it. You do other things if he turns away. Yeah, exactly. Because he's turning away. Because I kind of have to get into this space and also there, and the mat is in a way. It's just not possible to stay on top and get there. So whenever he's going to actually engage me and turn towards me and do stuff like that, yeah, that's when you potentially can get it. And you don't always have to get it from here. It can also be like this, trying to kind of give him the threat of the pass and then still go through. It can also be like from a deeper half guard, kind of. If he's closed. Now here it's a bit complicated because I can't just do that. It's going to take my back, so I have to have something here. And I have to do it not in a stupid way, otherwise I'm going to get plata, arm locks. So you have to have some structure. And I like the head post, which is also a kind of like a treat for a guillotines. But if you're aware, it's just, he's going to be like, oh, I can do the guillotine, but he can't. You have to have just some posture. And if he's going for the guillotine until, before he gets it, you know, just good for this feet and still fight for it and slowly try to get to it. Yeah? But as you see, it gets more and more complex, it's more and more steps, so we can't get through all of that. Also from the quarter guard, like if he just locks it up, I'm like, it doesn't work, but it's more and more easy. Yeah? And also if he just looks to not get past and he squeezes his legs together, I can't get that knee through, it's still fine, because then you have like, what's the double trouble just from as belly down, you can still attack this leg. From here it's not as safe and you cannot keep it as long as this one, but it's still a good position. And worst case that's gonna happen is gonna turn into the normal double trouble, which is still a very annoying position. You know? You can also finish from here just with the straight foot lock actually, just so everybody sees it, just kind of extend. It's quite strong, but we're not gonna go into all of that, just to get some ideas how to get that. Yeah? You can thread the pass and stuff. You need this space here. Yeah? So if he's, for example, doing this, I just don't go for it. For this, you can't force it, but I hate grinding and wasting energy, like doing so much work to open this up and then I go for the position. If he's doing this, for example, I'd rather do something like that. Just as an idea. So sometimes it's good and you have to grind, like in a competition, time is running out, you have to go hard, but if you can try to beat people without breaking a sweat. I know it's hard to imagine, hardly possible, but it happens. If you try, if you learn and keep focusing, you always the aim to beat people without fighting, basically, kind of tricking them. So always just do it when this space here is free. You know? Also look at that. I can kind of my knee onto him, then it usually opens up a bit, and then it's already the chance is there. Yeah? But as I said, this class is not so much about the timing and when, just about this anatomical position here. Now, knees on the floor, not squeezing, just keeping your weight on the knees and on your feet. The hooks of the feet need to be strong, they need to be flexed. Yeah. Especially this one needs to be hugging his leg. The other one, like I said, can be here, can be here, depending on the size of my legs and his. And like I said, when you like this position, if it's fun for you, try to get into it and not always just go like, oh, I'm gonna finish him, but try to stay here. Try to see, like, try to defend a little bit out. Kind of have to. This kind of thing. That's what you should be doing when you do sparring. And then, now we're gonna go into, like, we're not gonna do this for now, because like I said, just an hour and I have to show quite a few things. You can try this again. He's filming, so you can look it up again. Now we're gonna go into the actual finishes. Most people, the first instinctive thing is, they notice like they cannot move and they'll just stretch his leg out, like if they are not high-level leg lockers. They'll flex and stretch it out. First of all, if they do this, especially let's say it was bigger and stronger, I'm not just gonna do this, not possible. I can also transition to the knee bar perfectly here. Huh? But I would not recommend this as first choice, because if the knee bar fails then the position falls apart. But just be aware it's there. If it flexes really hard as a strong big guy, it's just basically giving you the present of the knee bar. So first of all, you can try to do this. Like, stretch your leg out. Kind of doing like this, kind of a power move. You can bend it, but if I was a 50 kilo girl and he's like 120 kilo, it's still not gonna work. So you can try something else. Grab here. And also your shoulders, use them. Like people have trouble sometimes doing this. Yeah. Just use your shoulders, your head, and then you have much more mobility here to catch it actually. And one thing I really like even with the stretched out leg, I did lift this one for a second. Yeah, but don't lift it completely. We try to have as much control as possible. Yeah, stay stable and try to. If this is not enough. This is actually a very unique heel hook. Especially for people, some people have this genetic, they barely have a ball here. You slide off all the time. The heel is just flat. Kind of make a heel extension and heel hook your own hand. Yeah? Like this. It's like one of the strongest possible. About equally as strong as this thing that Craig always does. So this is one thing you can do. Let's stretch the leg over again. You can also do this thing, I think it's called like the hobbler or something. You can finish people. But always, strong guys will always kick out and you'll still kick. You'll still end up here. Still can try it if it's not enough. You go, yeah. And if you can like really try this one, I believe it's much better than the normal heel hook in almost all positions, and it takes equally much time. It's not worse, more like just better in almost every way. Yeah, so now practice a bit to stay here. Practice to use your shoulders and your head as post to actually catch the heel. With the beginners, it's fine just to do this. Yeah, the more experienced guys can try this. And actually try to go like this. You know? Sometimes you can also do this, just this bump thing. Put your leg down a bit, try to defend in a more professional way. And most people try to just kind of bump over it. This can work, but with high-level guys, I notice they always slip it in that very moment. So try to avoid the bump. Try to kind of hold this leg and. Yeah. One more time. If it lands like this, it's almost perfect, and I can catch it right away. But you're gonna notice they're gonna start turning away, and then you have to use this thing. You have to use this thing. Be careful here, because if you go too hard down with the hip, it gets very strong very fast. So be very careful when you go for this. Okay? So let's start. Just try this a couple times. Now I'm going to go a little bit into, I took the jacket off so you can see it better, it's also very hot. A little bit into how to not make him notice what I'm going for. Yeah? Of course, speed is the thing. If you just step back really nicely quick, it's good, but speed is not always possible, especially if you're both going full retard. But you can give him a threat of other things. For example, if you're fighting here, I can go for a Zars. And I don't just fake the dives, I actually want to finish, but yeah, he does that and it's just not working. But he forgets about his legs often. And then you're there again. Yeah. Same thing with like, Dives is possible. Sometimes if he gets up, like, go for like chin strap or try to even an arming guillotine, but it's all kind of fake, just so he turns towards me a bit and then I just go for it again. It's always the same. Sometimes you can get a gift wrap. And it looks like I want to maybe take his back or do some stuff here. But actually I'm just waiting for him, like he's now turning towards me anyway because he has no choice of forcing me. No? So I can even just stay here and he can basically, the gift wrap is such an annoying thing, he can just watch and see his doom coming in. Yeah? And then once you're ready, you go for it. Yeah? Or you can be kind of mean and do the, like this. And then you go for it again. And see how I use my head? You have to really have a straight spine, post on your forehead, not like this. Yeah? You have to, otherwise, I had the situation, I got headaches and I was like, why? And I was like, oh, I did this shit and I didn't keep my neck flexed. So the moment you use it like a hand, like a foot. Yeah. So now we can try this a little. Yeah? Here we go. And dives. It can be the shittiest guillotine in the world, but look, now he's letting go here, so it actually passed. Yeah, if he keeps me there, yeah, that's it. I feel okay, he doesn't want to let me, but my hook, therefore, is very strong here because he's no forcing me to keep it there. Then I go for it. And if he's too tight here, I just stay here and go for the belly down double throw. Yeah. That's another situation. So just try to thread the pass. Make him worry for the pass, for the submissions. Gift wrap. It's a lot of hand fighting, scrambling here. But try to, those three things, like the guillotine, stars and the gift wrap, are very good to go for this. Yeah? So just this. Okay, let's go.
I think it's basically the same thing. Doing hand stuff. Just adding in hand stuff.
So now I showed a few ways how to get there. There are many more, like you have to play with this. You have to just spend a lot of time in this position, like just staying there and trying to stabilize and feel out what he's doing and what you can do. And now a few things against like the modern leg lock game. Because the moment I step back, like good leg lockers, if they know that I'm also good at leg locks, the first thing they do, even before I get this knee to the floor, they will already start to kind of move there. And even if I get here, these toes, like they point down usually, yeah, like this. Yeah. And here, and you already start here. He's almost forcing this roll. And I try to avoid this until the very last moment. It's not horrible, that roll. If I'm good at leg locks, I might still, then kind of the battle starts here. And I try to keep his knee and try to get his heel. But it's very, like, what should I say? It's a lot of a scramble. I go back, just in position. So try to avoid this. I put weight into this foot. On my way there, I'm hooking his legs strong and just pushing back with my butt so he kind of stays there. But it's still relatively hard to get the heel because he's turning it down. Like his toes, yeah, exactly. It's kind of really, really hard to get there. I might be able to, but it's not so easy. If that's the case, he offers me something else. First of all, there's a reap often, just really stupid, simple reap. I always hate doing this, looks so scary. But with good guys, they're going to kick out again, and I'm going to end up here anyway. And then they start pointing down, the toes down to the floor, and it's the same shit. I have trouble getting this against really good guys. So there's the corkscrew and the reverse toe hold. Reverse toe hold is this. Actually one arm technique, but this one is useless, so you add this and then it's actually strong. And the other thing is the corkscrew, which I like to combine with this power move, like stretch the leg out. Go here and it's like a ray, like kind of bend it and it's just slide down and eventually get it to here. Like I said, it's very strong people, you're not going to be able to bend it. But that's what I said, the modern leg lock game is not stretching it out, he will bend it and hide the heel, so he's kind of giving me a present of the corkscrew here. Yeah. And see how it can be like this, can be like this, can be like this. You need to kind of, depends on the size and length of our legs. You have to play around with this. This is the basic corkscrew. You can do it like a butterfly, like Bodoni did in ADCC, it's stronger. But I encourage you to learn it first the normal way, just to understand the submission. You know? I also, once you learn this, and then you do this one, and once you know both, try this one, I call it the DQ grip, it's even stronger. But it sacrifices control, so it's kind of a competition technique. You go and rip, so don't do this against your training partners, just pretend, like carefully try and then you like go. Okay? So whenever this foot bends actively, he tries to roll, either just try this, yeah, but good guys are not going to let you do this, so this one, and then he's going to kick. Because he doesn't want me to throw them. I have neck, flex your neck so you don't hurt you. And then you go for this, for one. Or this one. Okay. Yeah, can you like this? But first learn this one. It's really important to understand how to fold this foot. Okay? And let's go. So, any questions about it? Any ideas, anything you felt, or maybe some details to finishing, like with this heel grip, or anything? Nothing? So, like I said, continue play around with this, yeah? Try to find the situations when it's possible, always when he's turning towards me rather than when he's turning away. Try to give them like a threat with all kinds of attacks, smashing and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, okay, this kind of thing. Go for it. Try to play around with it. You can try to look how it is. If you squeeze, he's going to more likely turn away, but it's possible. And like I said, a good leg locker is going to kind of look like this, and you're going to be turning and turning. Like one thing, little thing, there's nothing to do with this class, but if you end up in this classic 20 years ago ADCC battle where they roll and roll, try to pull the knee in again. Don't go too much on heel, fuck the heel. You need that knee, and then you can go for a heel. They don't even need, if the position is good, you don't need this like, so, like I have a friend, he finishes heel hooks always like this, he just goes one arm and does this. Yeah? I love this grip, no matter from which heel hook, outside, inside. It's so much stronger in every position, even like when they get sweaty. Like good leg lockers, they look at me and they're like, oh, I'm gonna slip this. And then they review slightly, like slowly, they're like, and then they just step out and look at me like, what the fuck was that? Like, it's equally strong as this, but I believe this is actually even stronger. Like quicker. You can always get it. It just feels weird, but it's strong. You know? And the other thing, the corkscrew. I showed it from the belly down position, but if you never did it before, first learn it the basic way. Yeah? Like, for example, from here, it can be from 50-50, any position where the top of his foot is facing you. Yeah? Not like this, people get always confused, it's the outside one. Gable grip, and you see the space here, and this space here, that's the weakness of the gable grip. You have to kind of fight it and find that angle. And don't hurt your training partners, because, like Dean Lister says, this is the strongest straight footlock known to man. And it's true, if you have the perfect angle, it's just rips all the way. But often it's not the right angle, especially as beginners. You're going to be like, okay, I have to go hard, and then eventually you get it or you fail. But then accidentally, like just randomly, you're going to get that perfect angle, and you're not going to know it because you're a beginner, and you're going to think like, okay, I'm not so good at this, I'm going to go hard, and then it's going to be like, and then your training partner is out for a couple of months. So always be super careful and try to understand where it works best, just feel it out. Yeah, and once you're kind of good at it, then you can start doing the butterfly grip, because this eliminates all this unnecessary space here. Yeah. It's harder for him to slide out, and it's easier for me to finish because now the lever is not so far away. Like this would be like horribly hard. This is better. This is even closer to my body, so I don't need the strength of my biceps and arm. I just use my body, and then it gets very strong. And once you're good at those both, then you can try the DQ grip. As you see, there's more space again, but the break is stronger. There's even more pain, more destruction, but you might slip out. So it's I would say like a pure professional competition technique. You just go like and rip it. So you can't really, you have to have a good, nice training partner who lets you practice a bit and don't always fight to get out, and then you're never gonna get good at it. Yeah, so train it safely, be careful. Yeah, especially against bigger, stronger guys, you're gonna feel like, that's never gonna work, I have to go hard. And yeah, you're gonna go hard and they're gonna maybe still defend, but then 1 in 10 times you might catch the perfect angle and then you'll break even a bigger man's foot. Yeah, so be careful with this. But still practice it. I even show white belts heel hooks, but just tell them, don't do it against each other, go on me. Yeah, so that's basically it. Try, don't water down jiu-jitsu. Everything, neck cranks, every dangerous stuff, do it, but be careful. Because otherwise you're learning a crippled technique. That's why it doesn't work on the street. If you do everything that's possible in jiu-jitsu, you'd be a killer even on the street. But if you just do like the butt scooting, especially the sitting down, at least in the realistic, if I want the guard on the street, I would jump on the guy and look first if it's floor, like concrete, or if it's grass. Like if you sit, of course sitting down would never work on the street, but I fought 10 in MMA fights and I would jump guard in MMA fight, close guard. But like side close guard, with my head close to his, so he can't really punch me. Like if you just go close guard like this, well, okay, he's gonna destroy me. Yeah, but if I'm close guard like this, I can actually fuck him up a lot. Yeah, but it's just on the side. So that's it basically. If there are any questions, time to ask me now. Otherwise, yeah.
With the corkscrew, are you attacking it like your strength, or are you turning this in like a toe hold?
Actually, it's more like a straight. Yeah. It looks a lot like a toe hold, but what I'm trying to accomplish is not this. It's actually putting this here, straight. The guy will try to defend it. It will kind of look like this, but I'm still not. Like with the real toe hold, if you rip it, people often hurt their knee. Yeah. With the corkscrew, this is never going to, always all the pressure is going to go into the foot. That's the difference. A normal toe hold is like 50-50. You can try to go straight, but you can also turn. The reverse one is only turning. Only there's no folding. The corkscrew is supposed to be only folding, no turning. That's often a mistake. People try to kind of do this. It's not. It's just like going down and going up. That's actually a good question. It was an important detail to learn, like corkscrew and reverse toe hold. So that's it. I hope you liked it. Let's do a picture and have fun with it, and don't destroy your training partners. Be careful.